a new super strong tournament has started in Sweden, and it's called the Sigeman Co tournament. Uh, Indian talent Arjun Erigaisi is playing over there, but he's not the strongest player. The tournament has many amazing players like Jorden van Foreest, who is 2700 plus. There is Michael Adams, the English legend of chess. Then you have Nils Grandelius, you have Alexei Shirov, um, David Navara, Salem Saleh. It's a tremendous field. But there are two young talents who I'm especially looking forward to seeing them in action. One is Arjun, and the other one is Hans Niemann. Hans Niemann in tremendous form. He recently won the Capablanca Memorial with a scintillating 7.5 out of 9 performance. The first round began on 3rd of May, and Arjun was playing with the white pieces against Shirov. Now, Shirov is known for his aggressive and attacking play, but he's no longer the tactical monster that he was several years ago. Now he has, with age, you're not able to keep that up, but he still can be very dangerous. In this game, I want to show how Arjun smartly prepared his opening and managed to beat Shirov. So it started with d4, d5, c4, c6. It's the Slav defense. Knight f3, knight f6, knight c3, and e6. The semi-Slav is on the board now with e6, bishop to g5, d takes c4, e4. And now we come to one of the sharpest lines in chess theory, the Botvinnik system. c4 pawn is hanging, so black defended it, and now white attacked this knight. So in order to protect the piece, you have to play h6, bishop h4, and g5. White now sacrifices a piece, but only temporarily, because after bishop g5 the knight cannot move, and e takes f6 is a threat. Knight bd7, e takes f6, bishop b7. This is one of the main line positions. There are thousands of games here, and when I was a little kid, I had seen this Fritz trainer from Chess Base. It was Shirov on the Semi-Slav. Shirov was talking about this opening, and he's a big expert in this line. So how would Arjun manage to outplay or outprepare someone who has years of experience and I guess many games that he has played in this? In fact, Shirov is credited for many opening novelties in this line. So the main move here is g3, and it has been played in many games, like more than 1000 games. Play generally continues like queen b6, bishop g2, c5, d5, and with long castle coming up, and it's crazy complications, white short castles. But Arjun played bishop e2, and this is played in 196 games only. In fact, not many strong players have even played it. When I checked the database, Spassky has played it once, and there's this recent game at Junior Speed Chess Championship between Sarana and Savian that happened in 2022. It could be that this move is an inspiration from that game, or just Arjun prepared it on his own. And by the way, Arjun is supported in this tournament by Srinath, who has also traveled with him. And these are the kind of moves that I think they are angling for in this tournament, where you are not looking for the most principled line and a novelty in that, but you're looking to surprise your opponent. And I used to think that how many times can they surprise their opponents in different lines? It turns out that you can surprise them any number of times, because there are all these little ideas that exist in different lines all the time. So maybe Arjun and Srinath, they have this strategy for this tournament, but we will see. Knight takes f6 was played. Now, to tell you the truth, that if someone plays g3, knight takes f6, then that won't be a good idea, because after bishop g2, bishop e7, castles, queen b6, queen f3 comes, and somehow you are in big trouble, because f6 knight is under pressure. If you move it, then I'll take on e7, and white is clearly better. But this is what Shirov understood instantly, that now that the bishop will be on f3, not on g2, the f3 square is occupied, and so queen f3 is not coming in this position. Bishop e7, g3 played by Arjun, queen b6, and so you will see that over the main line, black is actually a tempo down. I mean, white is actually a tempo down because he's played bishop e2, bishop f3, and g3. I mean, I wouldn't say tempo down, but why do you have to lose a move doing this and bishop e2 and bishop f3 instead of just bishop g2? Turns out that there are certain differences, and also the engine kind of gives you more ideas on such systems. So knight d5 may be the best way to continue. You may have to analyze this for hours to figure out what is the best way. But I think here, after a4, b4, knight e4, the fact that the king is still in the center means that you can try and break with e5. The idea is f5 and e4, so maybe you take, queen takes, and in this position black could be doing fine. Although after castles, long castles, queen c1, I have not yet come to a complete conclusion as to whether black has equalized or not. There must be some better ways. But queen b6 turns out to be not perhaps the best, because after castles, long castles, Arjun plays his queen to e2. And now black goes on to win a pawn. He's now a pawn up. But after rook fd1, you realize that the queen is kind of short on space on the squares. If you go queen b6, then after queen takes queen to e5, it's already becoming difficult for black here. It's not easy. Also, dark squares start to get weak. Once the bishop is traded, I can get in with my knight here. So there is this tricky move, rook takes h2 here. If you take with the king, then queen f2 followed by rook h8 looks scary. But there is take, and now even though I don't think you can still take here, because after queen takes f2, if bishop blocks, there is knight g4, and otherwise f3 is hanging. So this might not be the best way, but rook f1 is the correct move, and white is better here because rook is hanging, knight is hanging. So not queen b6, queen c5 was played in the game, and now Arjun played h4, defending his bishop. Rook at g8, and he took, bishop takes, bishop takes, knight e4, queen e5, take on f6, queen takes f6. And now h4 pawn is hanging, so he played h5. So white is a pawn down, but he says, my bishop is more active, I have a passed pawn, your bishop is more passive, your king is slightly exposed, so I have compensation. Rook d8 was played, and this was the 23rd move. Now 23 moves are completed. Arjun was blitzing out his moves until now. This seemed all of this was his preparation. Amazing. Actually, no games have happened until here, or even a few moves before. But now he's all on his own, and he thinks for 31 minutes and comes up with an interesting move. I would like you to think and also figure out what would you do here. So the best move here, and one which is very difficult to find, is king g2. And this move has many benefits. First of all, your bishop on f3 is now protected securely. At the same time, maybe the rook can swing over to h1 if needed. And also, it's some kind of a waiting strategy to see what black wants to do. Because in the game, when white went a4, this was Arjun's move. Shirov could instantly see the drawback of that move and play c3. Very good move. And I think this is the move which is the only one for black, because otherwise he's in trouble. ab5 is coming, and then the rook takes a7 might be a threat. The black king is too exposed. With c3 is creating play on the queen side. A takes b5 came. Now, if you were to play, let's say king g2 c3 like in the game, Then after takes queen rook d1, white is simply winning because white's h pawn along with a superior bishop gives him an advantage. But when you play a4, c3, and now takes and rook d1, then after take, b takes a4, suddenly black also has a powerful passer. I can't take it, by the way, because f3 is hanging, and this is already better for black. So c3, ab, and now Shirov had an important move to find here. Try to think if you can find it with black to play. So Shirov took here cb2. Instead of that, he had to go rook d2, attacking the queen, queen e3, cb2, now attacking the rook b1, rook c2, b takes c6, bishop c6, takes rook c6, and the position is around equal. Because after AB that was played in the game, when CB2 was played, I think Arjun once again got his advantage. Rook B1 here, C5, and now another nice move by Arjun with white. He plays his bishop to C6, places there, and he says, look, either my bishop will help in always keeping this threat and controlling D7 square, or you take and my pawn will start controlling these two squares. A5 was played, a typical Shirov creativity. Actually, C4 might have been a better idea because, first of all, if you take queen C4, then in comes a very nice move, rook D2, attacking the F2 pawn, and you will see that there is no great discovered check. And if rook takes B2, there is rook D3, and black is still fighting very hard. A5, Shirov was like, oh, you can't do en passant because I'll take your bishop. And if you take my bishop, then I'll take, and you no longer can do en passant. So that's a interesting move. But Arjun now picked up the pawn, a4, rook d2, a3. And this is where white could have played better than what he did in the game. Arjun could have taken on d8. Okay, if you take with the king, bishop b7 is hanging. If you take with the queen, then h pawn is a strong pawn here. Or he could have even started with h6 because now the queen cannot take. Rook d2 is a threat. Rook d8 followed by bishop b7 would hang, or just bishop b7 first followed by rook d8 would hang. So like this. So h6 was much better, but he played rook a2, and this was not a good move because now Shirov moved in with the queen, h6, and black should have played bishop here, bishop c6, b takes c6, and c4, stopping queen a6 check for the time being. And after king g2, queen d3, I think the chances of this game ending in a draw are pretty good in this rook endgame. But rook h8 was a mistake by Shirov, and now white to play. There are many ways to take advantage. What did Arjun do? Well, Arjun found this very cute little move, queen d1, threatening to give a check here. And so after bishop takes c6, b takes c6, queen d4, queen b3, threatening a mate on b7, queen b4, queen d3, not only threatening a check here, but also queen a6 check. So after rook d8 check, king here, rook a3. Already this is curtains for black. His king is weak, h pawn is very strong. Rook d1 check, check, king moved here, and h7. Even if you had blocked with your queen here, then h7 was winning. So this is a nice move by Arjun, h7. And he says to his opponent, okay, you have one check, but after that, I'll simply move my king away. And there is nothing happening because the queen controls this square here and the white pawn is queening. If you were to play queen takes h7, then queen d8, and I win your rook. So with this very smart bit of opening preparation, Arjun managed to win this game. Very well played game by him. and we are looking forward to him in this tournament. Maybe if he plays well, he could come closer to the 2700 mark. Who knows, if he wins this tournament, he could even cross it. So very exciting. And by the way, I'm in this beautiful location right now, and I would like all of the people in the chat to guess where I am right now with the birds chirping. It's a nice place. For now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.